Hello, it's Rodney Allgood, also known as Coach Rod. It's been a minute since I've done a YouTube video, but I decided to begin sharing some of the episodes of the Empower Hour. The Empowered Hour is a weekly Zoom which I host within our Facebook group, the Empowered Minds Facebook group. And we cover topics that a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses struggle with in their attempts to move forward with their lives. This one that you're about to watch has everything to do with self-belief, learning to believe in yourself because, let's face it, we were in a religion that separated us from who we truly are. And with that comes a lot of doubt as we try to move forward with life. So we're going to tackle that subject. This is a Zoom that we do live. We have a Q&A at the end of it. And go ahead and join our Facebook group. The link is in the text if you would like to join us on this call. Make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Everyone, and welcome to the Empower Hour. This is a call we do every single week to give ex-Jehovah's Witnesses the tools to move forward with their life, to not get stuck, to not just survive, but ultimately thrive in life. So today we're going to be covering the subject of learning to believe in yourself. This is a big one. Coming from a religion like that, we are kind of brainwashed into a very limiting way of thinking about ourselves and a limiting way about thinking about the world and what's possible for ourselves. So today we want to talk about this and give you the tools to really move on, to change your perspective, really to change your life. It's all about changing your perspective. When you change how you see things, everything around you begins to change. When you change how you perceive things, everything is about perception, and it's really simple. A lot of times people think that change is so hard, but when you alter the way you see things, everything begins to change. You know, at a very young age, most of us were given the lenses that we look through. And just because you leave the religion, it doesn't mean that you've taken those lenses off. You simply no longer have the belief in the faith, but you might see the world through the same lenses. And that's what we're going to help you to address today. All right, so let's get into this self-belief. Self-belief is everything. Remember this, write this down if you're taking notes. Life is merely a reflection of the thoughts that you carry about yourself. Life is a reflection of the story that you tell yourself about yourself and the story you tell yourself about the world around you. You are creating your own reality with the thoughts you carry. Understand how powerful you are as a human being. That even if you don't like your life, you're creating that. Your words, your thoughts, the ideas you carry become your reality. What are you telling yourself about yourself? No one speaks to you more than you speak to yourself. So what is your self-talk? Is it not, I'm not good enough? I'm not worthy? I can't do this? I can't have this? I can't accomplish this. I can't achieve this. What are the words that you carry after the words I am? Remember that the words I am are two of the most powerful words in the English language, the words I am, because the words I am supercharge the word that follows it. I am powerful. You are. I am worthy. You are. I am competent. You are. I am not worthy. You're not. I can't do this. You can't. I can't have this. You won't. You are a magician. You're just walking self-fulfilling prophet of your own life. If you say you can't do something, you can't. If you say you can, you will. That's how powerful your mind is. But for some of us, our minds were calibrated when we were very young, and we are not the captain of our ship. So we're not really managing our own lives. We're living in response to life. We're not creating life. There's a difference. And I always say this: you either live in reaction to life, or you live with an intention for your life. When you live in reaction, you're responding to what's happening, which means you have no control. But when you live with intention, you're creating what's happening, which means you have almost total control. Not to say unforeseen things don't happen in life, but those things also help you to grow when you get through them. So let's talk about some reasons why we struggle with this. Number one, a lot of people do not embrace their individualism. You have to understand that you are an individual, that you're not supposed to be like everyone else. So you live life trying to please others. You know, being a Jehovah's Witness, there was a certain way you were supposed to be, right? If I walked in and I said, well, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses and I had this facial hair, you would know something's wrong because I wasn't being the way I'm supposed to be. For some of you, if your hair was too long, some of you ladies, if your skirt was too short, I would know. You're not fitting the mold. We did not embrace our individualism. Now, it's not just with Jehovah's Witnesses. This is go back to the school, right? Like, for instance, in school, I was never a great student. I'm not somebody who embraces that type of learning in that environment. So I had a story that I never got good grades. I had a story that I wasn't as smart as those kids. No matter what, I never got their grades. Not embracing that I was very smart in a different way, that the way I learned was different, that school does not really shine the light on the way my mind works. So as I got older, I started embracing my individualism. I'm someone who visualizes life. I can have a vision and I can make it happen. They don't teach that in school. I understand other people. I'm very socially aware. I understand where other people are coming from. They don't teach that in school. There's lots of things they don't teach in school that you might be very good at. So don't let outside things define who you are. Embrace your individualism. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, they did not do that. They didn't allow you to do that. You know, if you wanted to, you're an artistic person and you wanted to dye your hair pink, couldn't do that. Sometimes that's just an artistic person. They just want to express themselves this way. You couldn't do that. So you're violating yourself and you're getting out of alignment with yourself. So self-belief has a lot to do with you being in alignment with you, because as long as you're out of alignment with who you truly are, you're going to have a lot of self-doubt. You're going to be overthinking life all the time. Now, another reason why a lot of people coming from our background have a hard time with self-belief is because they're very hard on themselves. Self-judgment. It's hard to be in judgment of self and in belief of self at the same time. So every time you made a mistake, you just felt unworthy. A mistake doesn't make anyone unworthy. You know, if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you get put on reproof or something happens, right? I mean, you're just unworthy. I mean, your whole life, you're just not a worthy person. You stop getting invited to the social gatherings and the different things because you're unworthy. No, you made a mistake. Making a mistake here doesn't take away from your greatness here. It doesn't make this unworthy because you did this. Making mistakes is just a part of being a human being. When people try to pretend to be perfect, they're lying to you. If you could look in everyone's closet, there'd be a whole lot of things you don't want to see, right? That's just part of being a human being. So the mistakes you make do not take away from what you have to give. So silly to think that a mistake makes you unworthy. So regardless of what happened in the past, it doesn't mean that you're unworthy today. It doesn't matter what you did last night. If you learned a lesson from what it is, keep on moving. Don't not give your gift because you made a mistake in life. Never think of yourself as unworthy because you're stuck in self-judgment. Another problem we have coming from that background is that we were taught that the answers were outside of us. Remember this. Every answer that you're looking for is already within you. Answers are within. Now, when you find something outside of you that resonates, it's resonating because the answer is inside of you. It's resonating with something already. So if you come on this program here and I say something that resonates with you, it means the answer was already within you. I'm just poking it. I'm resonating with it. But when you think that something outside of you, say when you were a witness and you went to the elders for something, and the first thing they do is they're going to open the Bible and turn to a scripture, that doesn't really solve some particular things that might be going on in your life. It doesn't. All the answers are not in that book. But I'll tell you what, all the answers are within you. So understand that spending time by yourself, learning to tap into your intuition, you inherently know what feels right and what doesn't feel right for you. Learn to trust that, because you were taught to not trust that. All that talk about the heart is treacherous, that made you not trust yourself. Understand that you have an inner guidance system. You have an inner GPS system inside yourself. Another reason that we may struggle is that our identity was tied to the religion itself. So when you left the religion, you lost the sense of identity. If someone were to ask you why you were a Jehovah's Witness, tell me a little bit about yourself, one of the first three things you would say is, and I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Your identity was tied to it. So when you leave the religion, a lot of times you don't feel any sense of identity. And it's really hard to believe in yourself if you don't know who you are. So a lot of witnesses, ex-witnesses, are still tied to it, even though they've left. How many people do you see in the group sometime, their pseudo name on Facebook is something XJW? You're just tying yourself to the religion like forever. I get it, but you're just tying yourself. Your identity is still tied to that. And how do you get bigger than that when you're just tying, you're tethering yourself to this religion? Understand, all of you need to understand this. The reason that you're not a Jehovah's Witness is because you've outgrown the religion. Your consciousness has expanded beyond it. And when you expand beyond something, you can see something for what it is. Like the saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. When you're in the forest, your vision is limited. All you see is these tall trees everywhere. When you come out of the forest, especially if you come above it, you can see exactly what it is. So your consciousness is expanding beyond, where you no longer have to define yourself by the religion. See yourself as bigger. I've said this on other episodes that we've done. See yourself as big, right, as you leave, and see the religion as smaller and smaller and smaller. Most people see the religion as big, something that can look down on little you and judge you. And I need to avoid everybody when I'm in the grocery market, and I need to put my head down. No, you've become big and it's become small. You know everything they know, and you know the things they don't know. Who's bigger in this scenario? Allow yourself to see yourself as expanding in consciousness. Then you no longer have to look down on yourself and avoid people and feel small. Don't be their dance partner in the games that they play. See yourself as big. Learn to trust yourself. Trust that you're growing. Trust that you're expanding. You see, part of learning is making mistakes. And so many people are afraid of making mistakes that they never grow. Their ego gets tied to it. Let me tell you something, and it doesn't seem this way because they think they're humble people, but people of that religion are tied into this story. When you're tied into your story, then you're tied into your ego. Ego does not like to be wrong. Ego does not like to question what it thinks. Okay, that's why if you are talking to a Jehovah's Witness and you're kind of debating something, they're always going to shut down on you because their identity, their ego is tied to their belief. And when you can lose your ego, it allows you to grow, because I'm always okay with saying, you know what, I've been believing this here, but I got further evidence here and I'm going to change my mind. I'm okay with changing my mind. I'm okay with somebody sitting down and showing me that I was off base about something. I don't need to defend anything. I'm simply growing. So part of the belief in self has to do with letting go of ego, letting go of your story, being okay to grow, and trust that what you're feeling is okay. But you don't have to defend a point of view in life. You can just be okay with you. You can be okay with perpetually growing in life and trusting yourself. Another reason why people of our background struggle with belief is growing up. If you grew up in it, there was no personal validation. The validation always came from what you were doing in the faith. It wasn't about you. It wasn't personalized. You know, it's different when you're doing something you love, when you're a little kid and maybe you love dance and you get to dance in a dance competition, or maybe you love sports and you got to get a trophy, or martial arts, or, you know, whatever your thing, art, whatever it was. A lot of people get to go deep into what they love, what they're gifted at, and they get a lot of validation. So that's where a lot of self-belief came from. You know, my son, who's still a witness, but, you know, I let him play basketball when he was a little kid, and I was always his coach. We had 7 undefeated seasons. We played 9 seasons. We had 7 undefeated seasons. And that is the core of why he's such a competent kid. I mean, such a confident kid today. I mean, he's not a kid, he's 29, but he's very confident because of the core of achieving things. And so for a lot of us, we were kept from achieving anything. And then we kind of lost touch with our natural gifts and talents and the things that we love. So it's not too late. Whatever you feel you're gifted at, involve yourself in, even if it's just a hobby. Another reason why we may struggle with this subject is we have a false narrative of what humility is. It's a big one. A false narrative of what humility is. A lot of people from this background feel that humility is thinking small of yourself. Don't think too much of yourself. Don't think too much about what you think. Like for me to say, I'm great at X, Y, and Z. Oh, that's not humble. That has nothing to do with humility. You should know what you're great at. You should know what you're gifted at. You should never be afraid to say, I'm great at X, Y, and Z, because it's a gift. That is not a lack of humility. It's a gift. You don't have to play down your gifts and talents. You don't have to. Humility is when you allow yourself to be corrected when you're wrong. You allow yourself to grow and see where you could get better at something, where you could see what greatness someone else other than you, what they possess. You can see the greatness in others. You can admit what you're not good at. That's humility. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. You know what? I know I'm good at this. That's why I do it every Sunday. I know I'm good. I don't have to play it down and make it small. I know I'm good. I know I'm good at inspiring people. I know I'm good at lighting people's fire up. I know I'm good at helping people turn their light on. I know it. I own it. I know but I know what I'm not good at. Don't ask me to do your taxes because numbers dance in my head. Oh, God. Don't ask me to. I've got to grab my phone to figure out the tip on a bill. I can't do numbers in my head. I suck. I know what I suck at. But good does not become great until you acknowledge the gift that you were given. You want to be great at something? You've got to acknowledge the gift that you were given. And you got to be able to say to yourself that I am a phenomenal and amazing human being. That's one of the exercises I do when I coach people. I look at them and I say, would it feel weird to say I'm an amazing and phenomenal human being? And they almost always say, yeah, I can't say that. I say, you want phenomenal, amazing things in your life, don't you? They say, of course. I said, well, how are you going to get phenomenal and amazing things if you are not in resonance with phenomenal and amazing? You can't have it. If you think lowly of yourself here and you want this, you can't have it. It's out of resonance. So for you to have this, you've got to come here and be it. You can't have what you're not willing to be. I'm going to say that again. You can't have what you're not willing to be. Some of you single ladies, you want an amazing and a phenomenal man? Of course you do. But how are you going to get a phenomenal and amazing man if you can't say this about yourself? Because this kind of guy is looking for this kind of woman. You can't have it. If you're down here, you're going to find this. You want this, you got to be this. You want phenomenal and amazing, you got to be phenomenal and amazing. That does not make you not humble. How crazy is this? All of us were raised to believe that you are made in the image of God. Is God this or this? If you're made in this image, you're this. It's all the story you tell yourself. Greatness is your birthright. Greatness is your birthright. Just because you fall short, it doesn't mean you don't possess greatness in you. Sometimes we struggle with belief because we are valuing the opinions of the wrong people. Stop validating the opinions of anybody tied to that religion. Why would you? And it's hard because sometimes it's our parents, and we're supposed to validate the opinion of our parents, right? We grow up, we want to always look up to our parents, but most of you here outgrew your parents a long time ago. As long as you're tied to a belief system and you don't allow yourself to grow, then you won't grow. I say this all the time. You want to assume that with age comes wisdom, but that's not true. Many times age comes all by itself. Most Jehovah's Witnesses are the same person at 80 that they were at 30. Exactly the same person. They're just old now. My dad's been the same person my whole life. He's 83. He's exactly the same guy when I was 5 years old. I'm not dissing him. I love my dad, but he doesn't grow. He doesn't allow himself to grow. So he's not learning from life. He's learning from his religion. And until his religion changes something, he stays the same. The only time my dad thinks he grows, new light. So, okay, I learned something new. This year, they changed their belief on something. That's the only time I have ever seen growth, because he's only allowing it from one source, which is not a source that's growing. Another thing that affects people in their self-belief is they care too much about what people think. Remember what I'm going to say here. If someone who's standing on the letter A thinks you're great, and someone who is standing on the letter Z thinks you're awesome, and everyone in between from A to Z thinks you're awesome, then you're being inauthentic. You're being a chameleon because you care what people think. A lot of people don't agree with me. That's okay. A lot of people don't agree with how I run this group. That's okay. I don't care. I know my lane in life, and I stay in my lane. And if it doesn't resonate with you, y'all need to go somewhere else. It's okay. I'm not trying to convince everybody to like me. And that was the biggest aha moment I had, because I used to be a chameleon. I was a total chameleon. But when I let that go, when I've been able to there's some friendships that just no longer work. Let it go. Some things are like milk. Milk has a date that is good, and it has a date that is bad. You can't just keep holding on to that milk. It's lumpy, it stinks, it's rotten. Some things are like that in life. And when you don't care what everyone thinks, now I'm not saying being conceited where you don't care what anyone thinks. There's some people I validate and I value their opinion immensely, and I will always listen to what they have to say. But not everyone. If you're trying to satisfy everyone, you'll be a very unhappy person. Remember this: people who do not believe in themselves cannot believe in you. People cannot see in other people what they cannot see within themselves. So why would you validate the opinion of everyone? Most people that I don't resonate with, they're not doing very much for themselves. They're small-minded people. So we're out of resonance. And it's okay. Only care about the people that you respect. Never, write this down, right? This is a big one. Write this down. Never take advice from a person you would not go to, or never care about the opinions from a person you would not go to for advice. I'm going to say that again. Never care about the opinions of people you would never go to for advice. It's a big one. If I would not go to you for advice, I don't care what you have to say. Big one. Now, part of believing in yourself is this. It's looking at what you're gifted in life, gifted with in life, and embracing it. Lots of people think they're not gifted. That's not true. Everyone's gifted. The only difference between people is some people understand it, see it, and embrace it, and some people don't. Some people will only look at someone who's got an outward talent, a very showy talent, and think that's what a gift is. Someone who sings and dances or is an artist or, does something like that. Gifts come in different forms. There are different kind of wattages in life. Not everybody is this bright, shining light. That's not everyone's gift. Take light bulbs. There's a 40-watt bulb, there's a 60-watt bulb, 80, 100, and there's halogen lamps. Some people are 40-watt bulbs. That doesn't mean you're not gifted. It means you're a 40-watt bulb. Are 40-watt bulbs not worthy? No, they're very worthy. The room I like to chill in my place, I don't want a 100-watt bulb. It's too bright. I want a nice, comfy 40-watt bulb. And some of you are that. A 40-watt bulb might be somebody who is the pillar of their family, right? We all got like an aunt, somebody that, everybody likes to go over her house and eat her food and curl up on her couch, and she's just the glue of the family. That's huge. I know people like that. When they pass, the whole family just never gets together again. That glue is gone. That's a 40-watt bulb. And that person lives on in that family's minds forever. 60-watt bulb might be a little bit brighter. Okay. That doesn't take away from the 40-watt bulb. The 40-watt bulbs are usually some of the most important people in your life. But the 60-watt bulb might be more active in the community. Maybe that's somebody who's a school teacher, somebody who's coaching the little kids in sports. Then you have 60, 80 watt bulb. Maybe that person's really involved in the community or doing things to help people. 100-watt bulb. Oh, that's a bright one. That's somebody who's affecting more people. Again, that doesn't take away from the other bulbs. And then there's halogen lamps. That's a really bright light. That's someone whose purpose is to inspire the world. You know, some people who are married to people like that, you have to share their mate with the whole world. You know, those are they're those people. And a lot of times people are just looking at those people saying, I'm not that, so I'm nothing, which is not true. That person just has a different assignment. So look at where you carry your value. Look at where your life can add value to the lives of others and embrace who you are. Remember, it's all about belief. I'm gonna do something here. Again, this is no statement on the Bible, positive or negative. I try not to tell people what to believe, but I'm gonna use the Bible here, and I'm gonna show you where you were misled on some things. And the woman in the Bible, we all heard these stories in the Bible, said, if I touch the hem of his garment, I will be made whole. And then she went and did what she said. And he turned around and said, who touched me? Energy. Then he did not say, I healed you. He said, your faith healed you. Your belief healed you. She said it, and she did what she said. Talks about the Apostle Peter walking on water. Did it say, I made you walk on water? Or did his belief make him walk on water? And when he doubted himself, down he went. One scripture we was always given is the scripture, faith without works is dead. And they hijacked that scripture and made that all about going out and field service and doing all your witness activities. And what that scripture really means, that if you believe something, faith, if you believe something, the works is acting as if it's already so. If you don't do what you say you believe, you don't believe it. So the key for all of you to start creating the life that you want is to make it real in your head first. You must believe it to manifest it. And the book also says in the book of Mark, if you tell that mountain to fall into the sea and you believe it as if it's already happened, there's nothing you cannot do. If you believe it. Now, I'm just quoting the Bible. I could quote other, so-called holy books and give you the same kinds of quotes, because it's all about your belief. No one's greater than anyone else. You are just great at what you're supposed to be great at. The people that do amazing things just have amazing thoughts. Now, let me tell you how your mind works. You have three components of your mind: the conscious, the subconscious, and what's called the creative or the super subconscious. You relate to your conscious mind because it's tied to your five senses. That's how you take in information. And then it delivers it to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind was programmed mainly through repetitions. So your true beliefs are in your subconscious mind. You might think you relate to your conscious mind, but you operate 90% by your subconscious mind, which is your programming. And then your super subconscious or your creative subconscious, its job is to make your subconscious correct about whatever it is it believes. This is why if someone was born in poverty, has always had the story of poverty, comes to Vegas, wins $1 million, that money's gone within 12 months because his subconscious mind is not programmed for wealth, it's programmed for poverty. So the creative subconscious will say, this money's not right, we're not rich, we're not supposed to be rich, and it will find every single way possible to get rid of the money. So for some of you who are struggling What were you told would happen when you leave the witnesses? You were told your life was going to be a mess. You're told you're going to get involved in all kinds of crazy things, and your life was going to be horrible. If that is your subconscious programming, then your creative subconscious will make sure that your story is correct. And that's why a lot of ex-witnesses struggle. I'm going to tell you right now, most ex-witnesses struggle immensely because of their programming. Now, the fact that your mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined, once you start programming your mind for the things you want in life, and it does not know what's real and what's imagined. So if you can convince your mind of something to be true, even if it's, come to pass yet or not, then your creative subconscious will make sure that happens and bring you the people, opportunity, and circumstances to present what it is that you've accepted as truth in your head already. Am I making sense? That's how simple it works. So, my friends, I am going to open it up and let y'all comment and share and just say whatever you want to share with the group, what you learned or what you want to add to it or notes you may have taken. Let's open it up. Go ahead and put your hand up on the computer or put your hand up physically. Let's start with Cindy Stone.
Hi. I just want to say I really agree with you about what you say about our self-belief, that if we have limiting beliefs that will not get anywhere, we have to change those beliefs. And I had to do a lot of changing. I changed just recently, I changed my beliefs about myself. I did a lot of work on myself just recently. And I started writing my life story. And it's amazing what I can do with that belief. I'd like to share with you my foreword to that book, if I may. May I do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on just a second. It says this, it says, before we begin, I just want to say that I'm doing this writing from a place of love and certainty in my heart. True, some of what follows may be difficult to read for any number of reasons, but it's my intention to speak honestly and openly about my life and experiences. I do it to aid others. People need to know that they are not alone, that they are not the only ones going through problems like the ones that I've described in here. If my experiences can help one person avoid suicide, if my experience can help someone to keep battling on another day, or to walk away from a situation that no longer serves them, then I have fulfilled my reason for writing. When we feel alone, abandoned, or betrayed, it's easy to feel like we are alone in how we feel, but it simply isn't the case. In a human lifetime, it can happen multiple times: loneliness, abandonment, and betrayal. But keep going, because right on the other side is companionship, friendship, and loyalty. It takes faith to believe that, yes. And I'm not talking about religious faith, but an inner knowing that is more than where you are right now. Stay true, stay strong, have certainty, keep going. I love you all.
Wow, awesome. Very nice.
That was my foreword. And it's my why for writing my life story.
Well, congratulations for having the courage to write and the discipline to write, because it takes both. So this will be a big breakthrough for you by, putting yourself out there to do that. Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Shirley Brown.
Yeah, as you was talking, I was thinking about a saying that I came up with that I found that worked out pretty good for me is, if you're living to live or living to die. Because a lot of times we sit back and watch life go by. So we have to train ourselves, teach ourselves to live, living life or watching life go by. So are we living to live or are we living to die? That's a new way we have to look at things, so that it'll motivate us to do something with our life as well.
Awesome. I always say, you know what? You're born on a date. You have a dash, and at some point there's another date. You don't always control how long this dash is, but you get to control how impactful that dash is. So never live as if you're guaranteed tomorrow. Things could change quite rapidly. So whatever it is that you say you want to do, get started now. Don't wait till the ducks are all lined up, because they'll never line up. There's always going to be things going on. Make sure your dash is impactful. Thank you for sharing. Okay, let's go with Jeanette.
Hi, I really appreciated the comments today. I think they're fantastic. One of the things Cindy talked about was view of self. And when I left the witnesses about 10 years ago, I wrote down all the things I thought about myself. And I was really surprised how negative it was, and how many of those I was carrying with me. And so one of the bridges I found to change that is to think about somebody I really care about. And for me, it's a family member, a younger family member. And I thought, well, what do I think about her? And it was completely the opposite of what I had written down. It was all about caring, and I want the best for her. And I think even if she makes mistakes, it's still okay. It doesn't change the way I feel about her. And so I decided to adopt that for my own belief system about myself. So that was really powerful. And this year, I'm really working on self-compassion. And I feel like doing that work of thinking about all the messages we're telling ourselves is really tied to self-compassion, or can be. And so I'm really thinking about what I'm telling myself, and is that really what I want to carry? And then also there was some talk about phobias, and I feel like as witnesses, we had a lot of implanted phobias. And the kind of cool thing about phobias is when you're ready to start working on them, they are treatable. Phobias can be gotten over. I used to have a horrible phobia of spiders, and with treatment, I got over that. And it might seem like a little thing, but it was really something that affected my life a lot. Like if I had a spider in the room, I couldn't go in that room. And so now I have like a little spider in my kitchen, and I can still go in my kitchen. I'm not super comfortable with it, but I can still do it. And so, I lived with that phobia for 4 decades. And that was another thing that I was carrying with me. And I didn't need to carry it with me. And if you're interested in getting over those things, it can be done. And it happened pretty quickly. And I feel like since I was wanting to do the work, that made it happen quicker. So even though I've had these for decades, these phobias, I got over a lot of them fairly quickly, like within a few weeks. I was surprised at how quickly I was able to get over it. And I think it had to do with the fact that I really wanted to get over it, because I felt like I didn't want all that programming I had. I didn't want that to be my programming anymore. So I was really fighting against that. And that was my motivation for getting over that.
So you grew bigger than it. You see how you expanded, you grew bigger than it. And when you grow bigger, the story no longer fits. Right. So awesome. Keep working on yourself. Keep understanding that, yeah, you can tell yourself a different story. And that's all it is. We tend to tell ourselves stories that aren't true. And once we tell ourselves a story, our mind starts looking for evidence of that story being true, regardless of what the story is. Your mind will always try to find evidence of you being right about your story. So when you changed your story about the things you had a phobia of, it just switched. It's all about the story we tell ourselves. Okay, let's go with Brandy.
Yeah, Jeanette, no doubt, huh? When you're like, I really want this, you find that strength, you like dig down deep and you're like, I'm going to find a way, at least try it again. I'll try it again and again. And Malia, thanks for bringing your dog. It's very cute to see your dog there every once in a while. When you were talking, what I loved when you said in the beginning, Rodney, was that you're the one who talks to yourself more than everyone else. That's profound. I'm stuck in here. Yeah. And then also the thing that resonated the most for me was when you said light up your way, your own way. You got to find your way. And I'm struggling with that pretty bad. That I feel it, like I think I know what it is. No, guys, you guys, I'm going to say it right here. I know what it is. I've known it for a long time, for ever. But the whole world denies it and doesn't. I don't know. I don't know how to make it work. But I think that the first part, like you were saying, is to at least start to consider it in a real way. Like, what is my gift? You know, like, and what ways I can use that to contribute and give back. So, yeah, it's been really helpful. This whole session, there's just a lot to take on board, and I think Rodney, tell me what you think, but I think that starting to not deny what in my heart I've always kind of felt like, oh, I do really well in that arena. Just to not deny it, at least to just make it like neutralize it a little bit more so that I can at least move in that direction is the start. But if you could if you want to speak to that.
Yes, because when you said, I don't know how, that's where people get stuck, because you never need to know the how. You need to know the why and the what. Now, the why is what gives you the energy. That's the fuel. The what is the destination. That's the vision. Now, when you start moving in the direction of what you want, like I said, the people, opportunity, and circumstances start to come your way. Now, let me blow everybody's mind here. Back in 2012, I met this girl. I was walking out of a printing store. I met this girl, and we were talking, and we kind of liked each other, so we exchanged numbers and started dating. So she tells me, I lived in Hawaii at the time. We lived on different islands. So she tells me, Rodney, I'm working on this humanitarian project. And she goes, you know who I need to get in front of? I said, who? She goes, Oprah Winfrey. I said, how are you going to get in front of Oprah? Everybody want to get something in front of Oprah. She goes, no, I am a strong manifester. And what I think usually happens. She keeps talking about this. So one day, I'm on Facebook, and I see this message from when I used to live in Maui, and I moved to Honolulu. When I lived in Maui, I used to work as a model sometimes. And my modeling agent, her name was Cynthia, she says, looking for an African-American girl about 5'8" for a modeling gig. And I said, oh, I got your girl, because there's not a lot of black girls on Maui. I said, I got your girl, she's 5'8". She goes, send me a picture. I sent her a picture. She goes, oh my God, she's gorgeous. Just send it to me. So I called her at work. I said, when you get done work, go see my girl Cynthia. She might have a modeling gig for you. A week later, she goes, Rodney, I got the gig. The gig is for O Magazine and Oprah Winfrey.
Wow. What? Yes. Okay.
I dated her for 3 months. She stayed at Oprah's house in Maui for 3 days. That picture was from Entertainment Tonight. Oprah introduced her to the world on Entertainment Tonight. And then she told Oprah, I knew this was going to happen. And Oprah said, you manifested this on TV. So I was the conduit. That was my only purpose for any of that happening, is I was the conduit. She kept saying, I'm going to meet Oprah Winfrey. And I have more stories like that. I have crazy stories like that. Okay. So again, she wasn't worried about the how. She said, I'm going to meet Oprah. I was the how. Unknowingly, I was the how, right? So you never know in life. You just need to know what you want. And you must trust that it was put in you for a reason. So trust that and just move in the direction. Okay. Faith without works is dead. All right, let's go with Jules.
Yeah, I was just thinking when we grew up, for those of us that did, or any of us that were in there a long time, we didn't acknowledge our abilities, our gifts and things. And I know even after being out 19 years, I have some gifts. I know I do. And some things I feel good about. And I like to quilt. I make custom quilts, not like the typical quilt everybody thinks of when they hear about it. And they're basically a work of art. And a lot of people tell me that. But yet when I'm talking with people and they say, oh, I really want one. And honestly, I'll die before I get all the ones done that I want to, because they're just that much in demand. And yet for me to say, acknowledge it out loud, that yes, I can do something that's beautiful and amazing. And it's really difficult for me. And I think a lot of that comes from growing up and the way we did. So that's something I think I need to work on when people praise me for something, to say more than just thank you, because out loud, I have a hard time with that.
So, Jules, remember this: your gift is not about Jules. Your gift is your gift for the world. It's not about you, right? So when we make it about ourselves, it's hard for us to take this, those words that people give you, because you're connecting it to you. What I'm doing right now, this is my gift, but this is not about Rodney Allgood. It's my gift. I shared this poem once before, but I'm going to do it again. I want you to listen to the words. Again, my gift is words. They come through me, right? So listen to the words, because I think this is very profound with the subject matter. This is called the gift. There's a gift that dwells inside of you, bestowed by the universe. Your purpose lives within your heart, for it was given to you at birth. Your worth is not in question, but doubt won't let you see the greatness that resides inside of you. It's your belief that sets it free. This gift is not for you. Your gift is for us all. So consider it as selfishness if you don't heed your call. This life that we are blessed to live is not merely to exist. It's time to change your point of view. So take time to ponder this. Imagine yourself old. Your life is in review. Will you be filled with regret of the things you did not do? Will you have an empty feeling as you sit and stare, knowing that you will leave this earth with a gift you failed to share? So live to leave a legacy, and always remember this, that you are one of a kind and that you were born to shine, and your purpose is your gift. See, in that poem, I said, your gift is not for you. So I want you to ask you, Jules, who are you to cheat the world of what you were given to gift us? Who could use what you have to create? There's somebody out there that what you have to create will bring them joy, will add value to their life. And you have to ask yourself, who am I to hold back that gift? I ask myself all the time, who am I to hold back doing this every Sunday morning? Who am I? Because somebody's going to walk away from here today with a whole new view in life. Somebody's going to walk away inspired. Somebody's going to walk away elevated. Who am I to hold that back? You are merely a conduit for a gift that's trying to come through you. You are a conduit, and it's not about Jules, because Jules' story is too small for the gift. So let it go, let it flow, let it roll. Let's go to Malia.
I like how you said to never take opinions from a person that you'd never go to for advice. And people who don't believe in themselves can't believe in you. You know, growing up in the organization, we didn't really have a choice of who we were around. You know, we were around the same people every week, all the time. And it was really like always about who liked me, never about who I liked. And so I think, you know, recently learning to be really careful about who I'm around, you know, that can really change the kind of person that you are and the energy that you're around and like what you're going to accomplish. So, yeah, I like that.
Always watch who you're around. You will be the average of the 5 closest people to you. Whatever they're like, you will be like. So remember this, if I were to uproot one of you and put you in the Hamptons with a bunch of rich people and give you a nice house and an Amex black card, within 3 years, you'll easily be making $500,000 a year. Why? You will have absorbed what was around you. $1 million wouldn't feel like a lot of money anymore, right? You will have absorbed it. If I were to put you in a crack house and have you live there for 3 years, at the end of those 3 years, you'd be a crackhead. So yes, watch what's around you. Good point. Let's go to Christine.
Good morning. I keep coming back around to don't worry about the how. That was probably the best thing that you had ever said to me. Don't worry about the how. It's all gonna just come around. The people are just going to be laid out in front of you. The path is just going to be laid out. And that's what's happened. I would really like to do this, but how am I going to get there? I don't understand the pathway. And then all of a sudden it's when I stopped worrying about the how, everything just flows. And I don't know what the end result is going to be. I don't know what exactly my future is. I know what my gifts are, but I don't know what the end result is like really looks like. But every day it's just, I keep building on myself, building on my gifts, and it's all just getting bigger and bigger. Even a few weeks ago, I said, like, I don't understand. I don't know how I'm supposed to get myself out there. And you said, yeah, but it's only been 18 months. And you're right. It's only been 18 months. That's all it's been. I've got so much further to go. And for that moment, it was like I forgot to stop worrying about the how. Stop worrying about the how, because it's going to play itself out, and I'm going to be in the right place at the right time.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you, both of you, all of you, 2 hacks. Remember, this is a secret recipe. Ultimate self-confidence matched with an equal amount of humility. Ultimate self-confidence matched with an equal amount of humility. Propelled by courage. And then you need to be consistent and patient. Consistent and patient. Some folks complain that their life's been a mess for 20 years. Then they try to do something, and a year later, they're like, I can't do this. It's taking too long. 20 years of this, 1 year of that. It's somehow you think it's going to unwrap overnight. The winners in life are consistent and they are patient. They're able to do the same thing over and over again and face disappointments without losing their tenacity. Babe Ruth hit the most home runs and the most strikeouts. Remember that. Brock?
Yeah, I my dad and my uncle, they were like in their craft, they were like the best of the best at what they did. But they practiced exactly what you talked about. They were very confident, but they were humble to the point where their focus was accomplishing the job and teaching as many people as they could along the way, and never calling themselves the best at what they did. But they knew it, but it was teaching. So I got mad. I was upset at my dad. I was like, man, my dad should have made all this money, should have left me all this money. But that's his accomplishment. I had to stop letting it define who I was. Whatever he didn't do, now I've got to pick up and I've got to do it, whatever it is that I want to do. But now I find myself teaching people just like they did, not worrying so much about the money part of it. It is, and there's nothing wrong with money. Trust me on that. But focusing on people and developing people and giving your gift, that it was a gift that they had, but the giving of it was what kept them going. Because money comes, money will go. It didn't change them not one bit, but you have to keep plugging away. And we do, like Rodney says, our gifts are gifts to other people. Sometimes when we have a bad spot in life, one of the best ways to get out of that bad spot is go help somebody else that's in a bad spot. It's what we can give helps us. All of us here now, we're just talking about these things, help us help each other. And we're developing a group that we can go to. Like Rodney talked about the 5 people. Well, when we get together like this, we're helping each other, and we're surrounding ourselves with the positive thought and the positive thought process. And then you know that you're not alone, you're not crazy, is one of the biggest things, because coming out, everything that was in that organization is what defined us. Now we know that we can be individuals without the organization and become who we want to be, or even get to know ourselves and know who we even are. So, I love these conversations. I love hearing everybody and their experiences of growth, because it still helps me grow. It helps me to do things. It helps me to have confidence. So each one of you and each one of your comments, I get something out of it. So, let's just keep it going and keep the positive thoughts.
I love it. All right. Thanks for sharing. I love it. Let's go to Chris.
I was drawn to the witnesses for what they appeared to be. And that was like what made me stay. It was such an opposite feeling from what I knew as a kid. But my healing of my childhood traumas really got me to see that what the organization is doing, it is a form of manipulation, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word. But like how you brought up the things that they would do if you were living wrong, like they wouldn't invite you to social gatherings, or, like things were done in such a subtle way that you would start to feel negative about yourself, and you would start to think, oh, I need to change what I'm doing. Like, even like during meetings, they would make these comments and they would speak in like generalities, but you would know that it's about you. Like just this deep feeling inside, like, oh, this is about me. I know it's about me. I need to change something. So it's kind of like what you're saying, like you need to grow beyond the organization. Like you can't just see this organization as something bigger than you. You have to see yourself bigger than it. And I think that's where I am in my healing, is trying to see this organization as smaller minded, because they're only taught to think this one way, but really it's not that one way. As you heal, you're like starting to see that there's so many ways that you could see the world and that you can live your life. And like being here, being with you guys really helps me feel more comfortable in my decision, because we've been out of it. We've been in it for 12 years and we've been out of it for a year. And that 1 year really helped us grow a lot in terms of mental health. So I don't know. I don't want to go on too much, but yeah, just wanted to share some of my thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, so it's just a piece of your journey, right? So, the best way to look at it is it served you while it served you, right? You can't say, for some people it serves them, right? You're looking for a buoy, it's floating in the ocean, and you're looking for something to grab onto, and it served you, and now you've grown beyond it, right? So now you can see it for what it is. Again, I don't look at that time of my life in a particularly negative way like a lot of people do. I mean, I had fun. I did a lot of fun things, and but then I could see through it too, that it's still a thing that tries to control people. And remember this, it's not just the witnesses that try to control people. It's the media, it's other religions, it's the government. There's a lot of things that try to control your thoughts and control what you think. And there is a power that certain people get by keeping you in your little box and keeping you stripped from your power and unaware of what's really in you. So understand you have so much to give. It all begins with belief of self. Now I'm going to use this analogy before I close. Remember this, you will always live to the level of your self-belief, not the level of your potential. Potential is irrelevant if you don't believe. So if I took this water, this cup that I'm drinking water out of, and I ask you, what is the capacity or the potential of this cup? You're going to say up to this brim here. But if there's a hole right here, that's all your negative self-talk, all your doubt is the hole in the cup. It doesn't matter how big it is, it's always going to have an inch of water until you patch the hole. This is your negative self-talk. This is your doubt. This is your lack of self-belief. That's the hole. It doesn't matter how big this is. Okay, so until we patch the hole, our self-belief can now match our potential. Now, here's the difference between some of you who make the time to get on broadcasts like this and those that may not ever take advantage of the things that's put out there, or the witnesses. When you were a Jehovah's Witness, you thought the container was only this big. Where the hole is as big as you thought the container was. For those who do not make the time to work on themselves, it's because they think the container is only this big. So where I applaud all of you is that all of you are aware that it's really this big, and you're looking to fill the hole. So in closing, I'm going to share one more poem with you. It's called Believe. It goes like this. If you knock, it shall be open. And if you ask, you shall receive. Now, what you need to find deep in your heart is faith and to believe. You see, having doubt is just like poison. It brings death to all your dreams. But having faith is the expectation that what you see will come to be. Now, never let anyone around you tell you what you can do. For they can't comprehend, nor can they understand a dream that was meant for you. Now, the word fear stands for false expectation appearing to be real, but fear will dissipate. If you have faith, you find a strength that you can feel. Now, you've heard this said before, that there's nothing that you cannot do. Learn to let that sink deep in your soul and know this to be true. That if you believe down to your core, there's nothing that you can achieve. And it all begins, listen close, my friends, with a dream that you believe. Thank you for joining us this Sunday. We will see you next week, y'all. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.